So, Kate, did you know that there's an election going on?
I've heard something about that, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So, there's a lot of stress and anxiety going on right now. So, I wanted to ask you, do you feel A, annoyed, B, through, or C, just anxious?
I'm going to go with D over it. And and
Mhm.
oh my god, the anxiety is appalling.
It really is.
And this is actually a thing. Election stress, election anxiety is an actual thing that the APA, the American Psychological Association, has talked about.
It's been researched, it's been verified, so everything you're feeling is real, people.
That's right, because someone else told you it is. That's how you know, is that somebody else has made it clear.
And
Somebody with letters.
we're on the internet,
That's
so you're
right.
hearing this on the internet.
Which, enough
It's
said.
true.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. I also think, I hadn't thought about this till right this minute, but one of the things that makes me anxious is that it brings out a side of me I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I am not typically a sort of hostile, violent, aggressive person for the most part. But oh my goodness, there's moments where I just really want to actually hit. And I don't ever feel the need to have physical violence in my life, So it's
Yeah.
crazy.
So this brings me to my point, which is I was thinking, let's come up with three things that can really help you prevent yourself from killing the person you're talking to.
I'm killing the person you're talking to. Okay. Oh, it's not the people I'm talking to that I'm concerned about. It's the people on the television that I want to kill. I haven't really had a lot of encounters with people in real life that are
Mm-hmm.
problematic. It's more on the internet and the television.
So you run into those people on the Facebook and on the
Mm-hmm.
Instagram that have particular views.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the important things I think to do is really always remember that a lot went into making that person, right? A lot
Mm-hmm.
went into getting all their views that way, to getting wherever they are. And part of it is understanding that so you can actually start to understand their point of view a little bit. And that's actually one of the things that's really crucial for help creating actual change rather than just being, I don't like your views. Here are my views, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have to find their way in
Mm-hmm.
and sort of take it from there.
Yeah. Another thing about anxiety that is relevant is Fritz Perls, who was the father of Gestalt therapy, a psychiatrist, I think, said anxiety is the gap between the then and the now, or something like that. And so it's when we're not in the present that we get anxious. Anxiety doesn't exist in the present moment. It only exists when we think about the past or the future. So I think it's really easy for us to jump ahead a lot in this. There's a lot of jumping ahead to what's going to happen. And of course, we don't know. We don't have any way of knowing. So living in the made up future creates anxiety. So trying to avoid that and staying in the moment and instead of predicting all those what ifs is what creates a lot of anxiety.
The other thing I always like to do, this doesn't always go over well, but I'm always like, when people are saying something that I don't agree with that I think is really offensive, I always like to pull out the, what would Jesus do? Because I think, oh, it's just a great way. And then I like to invoke other sort of big deities. Then I'm like, what would Buddha do? And
And
then
it,
I'm like,
what do? What do people say when you say that to them?
they just sort of stare at me. I think it's funny. And then the other one I like to pull out is I say, what would Buddha not do? Ah.
And does that actually work, or does it just make you amused?
It definitely makes me amused,
Okay.
which is generally one of my priorities.
There you go.
To
There you go.
alleviate the anxiety and stress that comes from talking to people and from Facebooking about this stuff.
Yeah, which leads to another point is that one of the things that the people who know things
Them.
suggest is staying off the internet so much that like we tend to obsess
Yeah.
on Facebook or wherever, and it's really not helpful, especially because people are asses on the internet so often, and so it's even worse than in actual life. And it's also acceptable to tell people, you know what, I don't want to talk about this anymore. We need to change the subject, and I can't talk about this anymore today.
Yeah. And do you remember that when you're on the internet, like, take responsibility, right? Because a lot of people don't take responsibility. They just throw these things out, and sometimes they leave them there. They don't respond. They don't provide any clarity or definition. So I always try when I do engage in it. You have to be willing to stay with it and clarify, and just not leave these little bombs out there. It's another
Yeah.
important thing, because I think the more you can keep staying in the conversation with people, the less anxious people are going to feel, because you're ultimately going to try and get to some place that both of you or you and your group are a little bit more sort of connected.
Mm-hmm. Or at least end with a civil sort of, okay, well, this is, we've both expressed our opinions, and that's how that goes. Yeah.
And then you lean over and give him a big old kiss.
So, good luck. Trying
Good
to
luck with
stay
that.
sane. And we'll see you on the other side of whatever happens, and then we'll all be okay. Whatever happens, we're all going to be okay.